Krikmann Long Weekend Cup Night on Sunday the 11th with the running of the listed Chief Havoc Cup. Free entry with canteen, bar, jumping castle and face painting for the kids. It's our sponsor, Gunnedah Greyhound Racing, this long weekend. Be there.
Macca on 96.3 FM and 88.9 FM and iHeartRadio. Thanks to proud sponsor Professionals Real Estate Tamworth.
Absolutely, and a big good morning to you, wherever you may be. Well, we've got so many guests in this morning. It's like a revolving door of special guests. And today we have Leo Krikmann. Now, how are you, Leo?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having us here. It's me here.
Absolutely, no, fantastic. Well, you and Dolly Parton in spirit, because you are tied up with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which has been running for a few years here in our Tamworth region, not just in our Tamworth region, but across the world. Let's be honest. Tell us how big this program is.
Well, let's talk about Tamworth as a starting point. It started here in 2019, and we're getting to a really critical milestone here, which will be at the end of this year, where the children who've been on the program receiving a book a month for 5 years will graduate off the program and ready for school.
We're not talking e-books either. We're not talking, little leaflets that look like books that are photocopied. These are good quality, proper books that have been supported by Dolly Parton and her organisation.
Yeah, the books, we buy 2 million, as an organisation, with 2 million books a month. So that's a lot of books going out to children. There are, at this point, they're almost reaching having supplied 200 million books worldwide.
Do all the kids get the same book each month?
No, they're all age appropriate. So every book is chosen for age group in every year.
Okay.
And every child will get, in particular, in Australia, all the children will get that particular book in that month for whatever age group they're in. And we send out, we've got in Australia, currently by the end of this year, we'll have 42,000 children on the program.
Wow.
So that's how many books will be going out every month.
That's just insane. Imagine the job to be packing the mailers for those. One thing I have to ask the question about Australia, is there any Australian content in these books?
The majority of the books are Australian. And we have a lot of Indigenous titles, about a dozen or so Indigenous titles in the book and in the book selection, and we continue to add those in there because, it's got to be relevant. We don't have any American titles at all because they speak funny. But we do have some UK titles, but a lot of Australian titles. Like, the known authors like the Hazel Edwards, the Mem Foxes, those Alice Lester, those people that most of us will know the books if you saw it. We can see all the books that are in the range and you think, hey, I read that.
And these are books you're probably paying $20 or $30 for at the bookshop, and they're just literally coming to our kids as part of this initiative.
Well, we are able to deliver that through Australia Post to the child for $9 per book.
That's phenomenal.
And that's the beauty of it. And that's why I'm here also, this visit is really just to promote the program and seek further support for your community program. Because the council started here, they had the vision to see this program for every child in the community. Every child, irrespective of socioeconomic conditions. So the council decided to fund the program and start the program. But over the years, we've been building momentum with local businesses. So we've got great supporting businesses, local Toyota dealer. We've got JobLink Plus, West's Entertainment Group. Those kind of organisations who are funding the program. So it's about a 50-50 partnership now.
Wow.
Now, to give you a sort of a sense of magnitude here, and this is why it's important that the community get behind and help fund this program, because we want this to continue, because we'll talk about why it's important, is that it'll probably be around the $380,000 a mark a year that this program will need to be maintained for the population of children in this community.
Dolly's obviously put the bill out for a fair bit of this as well. How much money does she put into it for you?
Not a cent.
Really? There we go.
She does not fund it.
It's actually funded by
the local community.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
There are over 400 programs in Australia.
Good on you, funded. Dolly. You got millions. Where are you?
Well,
she's got a name behind the whole thing, and obviously a fair bit of support. And an interesting thing you just mentioned to me off air, which is a big statement from Dolly, is she'd rather be remembered for her books than her looks, which I think is awesome. So
that is incredible. Yes.
So how is she? Obviously, her foundation behind it, but how is she supporting that otherwise?
Well, the mere fact that we've by virtue of the size of what the organisation is able to do, we've got the buy power with the publishers to be able to get the volume. I mean, when you buy 2 million books a month, you sort of get a different rate.
If you've got Dolly's name behind it, then they're going to look after you too, aren't they?
Exactly, and we've had a relationship with one of the world's largest publishers, Penguin Random House. They've been there from get-go, and so we can get these books delivered. And the beauty is the books are delivered to the home with the child's name on it, and we have somebody here with us who might be able to tell the story of
Absolutely.
what it's like to
community
get the
coordinator, DJ Series, managed to find a way into the studio. Now, yourself, DJ, with a couple of young kids, you received these books for one of your kids. Talk about how good they are, the quality of them, and how excited the kids are to get that package in the mail as well and go, hey, kid, you got yourself a new book.
So they're amazing books. They're amazing quality books. I think Possum Magic came through, and I don't know if anyone knows Possum Magic. That's just the most beautiful book. Yeah. And it's just a great thing every month. So my daughter was born in 2019 when it started, so she's going to have the full 5 years, which is just... Yeah, it's just really cool. So they love opening the package and they love to get these books. And realistically, we wouldn't have the amount of books that we have at home without Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. It just wouldn't. We wouldn't have them.
We often hear that, and we know that sometimes in some communities, particularly, this program is now being emulated in so many different communities. The Tamworth model, as we call it, and in fact, and Dolly knows about Tamworth, by the way, really about this model.
Oh, yeah, she's been here, and obviously...
But because of this program too, she knows that the way this program was put into play, that every child born, not just a selection of children who might be more vulnerable, that this has now been duplicated around New South Wales to 26 other locations where every child gets the book. But the whole idea is that we want to give children the opportunity to be prepared for school, so it's school readiness, because we know that sometimes families can't afford books, or in the cost of living, the way it is at the pressures of the moment, the last thing that's off the list is the first thing to fall off is buying books for the kids.
Right. Well, that's one of the things that just doesn't happen these days, especially because books are so readily available online. Like, you can read online. There's so many other ways to read literature that books are sometimes like the last resort these days, even in non-low socioeconomic families. Like, that's just,
Here's the amazing thing. There was a paediatrician in the US, John Hutton, who did MRI scans on children being read to physically as opposed to screen time. And he said the neurological things that were happening, the synapses that were happening in the child's brain was like chalk and cheese.
Really?
That what exploded is the imagination that happens in the child. And also with a physical book, you've got a third dimension. On a screen, or even audio, you've got only two dimensions. You've got the physical dimension. And look, I hear stories from educators and teachers saying kids arrive at school, sometimes they don't know how to even hold a book. They don't know which way's up. So we're equipping them. But most importantly, it's the fact that parents are the first and foremost teachers of the child. And by having a book to sit with that time, particularly fathers who aren't necessarily that well versed with what to do with a young baby and child, they can spend time reading with a book.
Absolutely. I remember my newborns, both of them, even though they weren't understanding what I was saying, I'd sit there with copies of Possum Magic and that sort of thing. Hippopotamus on the roof eating cake and that sort of stuff, which is, funnily enough, going to be the title of my autobiography when I pass, pretty much. But, mate, thank you very much for popping in. Just let us know, if we're not signed up to this already, how we can get involved, and also how we can throw a few dollars and a bit more awareness your way to ensure that this program continues for years to come.
Beautiful. What I'm going to say is all you do is hop on the Northern Regional Library website. In the drop-down menu at the top, there's a thing called More Than Books. There's a Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and you go there and there's information there, and that you can press the donate button.
Fantastic.
It's $9 per book per child. Per month. So it's 2 cups of coffee.
So $100 you're helping 10 kids read, basically, aren't you?
Beautiful. Or $108 you get a whole year's worth of supply to the child.
Good
and look, if grandparents and parents can do that in the community, or businesses, we're just so blessed by having so many businesses that have said, we want to support our local community, because these are the children we want to stay in the community, to bring value into the community, and to be good citizens rather than have to leave the place because they haven't got the opportunities here. So
sounds great. Well, thank you very much to Leo Krikmann from Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and also to DJ Siri for letting us know as a mum how important these books are in our lifestyle and how important reading is a whole for our kids. A great legacy for a great lady. Let's hear from her right now. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
Thanks, DJ. This is 9 to 5. 9 being how many dollars we need to get one kid a book. Sounds cheap to me.